Kind of common symptoms that we'd see of dysphagia or swallowing disorders are coughing with food or fluids. Did you ever find that your dad?
Yeah. When the coughing and the odd mistake you can tolerate, but when it becomes every mealtime, it's a touch and go thing. You only need to scare yourself once or twice, and you just sort of, I need to figure this out.
Yeah, well, that's one of the really early kind of red flags that we would call it with dysphagia. And so what's happening there is the food or the fluid are actually reaching the level of the vocal folds. So if someone is coughing when they're eating or drinking, it's likely that maybe the food or fluid is actually entering their lungs. And something that can happen from that is that the person starts to get lots of chest infections. So the build-up of food and fluid and bacteria in their lungs can cause infections. So is that something that you saw with Paddy?
Yeah, you ended up with a chest infection, and it probably wasn't chest infection season of the depths of winter. It would probably been something in the summer.
And oftentimes what happens is those symptoms start presenting very late. And so by the time we've actually figured it out and noticed it, they're in hospital or they maybe have a pneumonia. So it's really important to catch that quite early. When someone is demonstrating those signs of dysphagia, the best thing to do is get a speech and language therapist involved. So the best way to get in touch with a speech and language therapist would be through a person's GP. Some of the ways that a speech and language therapist can help are through diet, texture and fluid modification. Now that sounds very complicated, so I'll explain it for you. So when we modify someone's diet, it just means that maybe they're not able to handle those hard, normal consistency foods anymore. They might present as a huge choking risk to them. And so it can be necessary to make, to encourage the person to eat softer foods, maybe even pureed foods that will kind of slide down more easily and make swallowing more easy for them. Another way we can modify textures of drinks. So as you can imagine, a drink travels very, very quickly through the mouth. So sometimes people with dementia, their muscles can't quite get in sync quickly enough to manage that fast flowing drink.
Goes against their breath.
Exactly, it goes against your breath, or it went down the wrong way is something that we always hear. And so if your loved one is recommended to have a thickener, it's really important, because there are different brands and different types, that you become familiar with the specific guidelines to thicken the drinks that your loved one has been recommended to have, either directly with the brand or with the speech and language therapist, to get specific thickening guidelines on how to manage it. So there are 4 different levels of fluid thickness. They go from very mildly thick to kind of gradually thicker as it progresses. Because if it's too thin for the person, then it might run very, very quickly down and into the lungs, causing those chest infections. Whereas if it's very thick, the person might just not want to take it. It might be unappealing for them. So then
You need to dish out.
Yes, so then it might result in them maybe becoming dehydrated, which can lead then to constipation and lots of other issues.